you have a story to tell about a challenge you've had to overcome, and probably a challenge that kept you up at night, you stressed over. Maybe you got help in your form. Maybe someone in EO helped you navigate a powerful decision. Maybe you lost a partner, got a divorce, had something traumatic happen in your life, and that story is sitting inside of you doing nothing.
Are you telling me that everybody in EO has a story that they should share on the EO Nashville podcast?
Every single body. Everybody.
Welcome to The Decision from Nashville EO, where you will hear the rest of the story after tough decisions were made by entrepreneurs who faced adversity and lived to tell about it.
Welcome to The Decision, the podcast by and for EO Nashville. With me today, as always, my co-host, Mr. Robert Hartline.
Yo!
Hey, welcome. And our guest today is Robert. What the fuck? I thought we were supposed to have a guest. What the hell happened?
Dude, I'm trying my hardest, but some of these people don't realize the value they could be giving to other EO members by telling their story. You have a story to tell about a challenge you've had to overcome, and probably a challenge that kept you up at night, you stressed over. Maybe you got help in your form. Maybe someone in EO helped you navigate a powerful decision. Maybe you lost a partner, got a divorce, had something traumatic happen in your life, and that story is sitting inside of you doing nothing.
Are you telling me that everybody in EO has a story that they should share on the EO Nashville podcast?
Every single body. Everybody.
We need you. Please, if Robert calls, or if you just think, hey, I need something to say, I've got something I want to share with EO Nashville, please be on the podcast. We're coming for you. We're going to come get you.
What do we talk about? We talk about things that happen to us every day.
Every day.
Lives. Our lives are literally evolving.
You may think it's trivial, but it's not. It's going to help somebody else. And we want to capture these stories so that we can spread the love of what it's like to be in EO Nashville. Please come tell your story. We promise we'll be gentle. We'll make it fun. We'll make you look good in this beautiful studio. Answer the call. EO Nashville needs you.
And you know what? If you say something silly, like maybe you accidentally talk about that dumbass employee that you had.
Or if you get really angry and you say, motherfucker, sucker, god it, son of a
okay,
we're going to bleep all that stuff out. I mean, you will never hear it.
Yeah, but the moral of the story is if you say something you didn't want to say, we don't have to air it. We don't have to publish it. This is to make you look good, but also give another entrepreneur hope that they can get through that trying time because they heard your story. You know, when we get into forum and we share vulnerable stories, you do that so the other person listening can actually find their story in your story. And it's a beautiful relationship. But we need you to come share more. And this isn't about necessarily at all promoting your business. It's really promoting the story of your evolution through a decision that you had to make in your business or life.
And if you want to see some of those, watch this.
But the Nashville and greater community has really welcomed the Freeman family with open arms. We've made incredible friends. Our children are thriving, just incredible. And the EO chapter here is fantastic, as is the South Florida chapter I came from. So just really, really neat to go to a city, a thriving city, right? Like Nashville, and just immediately have like-minded entrepreneurs, friends, people you could talk about. And so it's been it's actually 4 years. December 23rd was 4 years. So,
well, welcome to Nashville.
Thank you.
Wait, could you tell a difference between chapters? Is there a distinction between the two that you've seen?
Yes. And it's really ironic. The two chapters that I'm a part of are two I think still at this time, like 1 and 2, or, what you have it based on size of EO South Florida and EO Nashville, definitely different, right? So, South Florida, we have a lot of folks coming from all over the world, moving to Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Here in Nashville, we have folks moving here as well. So there's some similarities in that. Size, scope, we've got some major folks that were involved in, the cryptocurrency movement, because that's what kind of came to town in South Florida, right? A lot of big time hospitality, restaurateurs, stuff like that. Here in Nashville, I've met a lot of folks that are in all different types of businesses that we don't have in South Florida, and vice versa. So definitely different.
Yeah, I could not imagine moving to another city without having an EO chapter to help plug you in.
Yeah.
Because it takes, you think about if you move to anywhere USA, to build a network from scratch is going to take you 10 times as long versus being in a chapter.
Yeah. And the forum experience as well. So having been in EO prior to moving here, I was, I guess, in EO over 10 years. Mm-hmm. Now I've been in, 15 or 16 cumulatively, but had been in 2 different forums. So when I came here, I was like, this is a major decision, this is a major decision. I'm brand new. I want to be a little picky, but a little selective. And, I would say really the biggest thing, Eric, is my forum experience here in Nashville. Yes, differences in the chapter. I've been so blessed with the 3 different forums that I've been in my life. These 24 men that have just shaped me, molded me, and I've been there for them. They've been there for me. But the gentlemen here in Nashville are just incredible.
Or maybe this one.
That's kind of the culture that I had in the corporate world and how I ran the teams that I was lucky enough to be in charge of. And I start talking about it in the interview process, and then I live it. I think that is one of my strengths. I could spend all day telling you a list of my weaknesses, but my strengths are building really good teams because I believe in people and I treat them how I would want to be treated. I empower them. I try really hard to hire people that are smarter than myself. Because I believe that 5 heads are better than 1, really. Mm-hmm. But you have to, I will not want something more for somebody than they want it for themselves. Yeah. I will give you all the tools. I'll give you all the rope, but I'm not going to do it for you. You have to want it more than I want it for you. And if I don't see that level of dedication and initiative, if you're not willing to come in and ask questions, and more importantly, if you're not willing to fail, because you are going to fail. Because we all learn greater lessons from our failures than we do our successes, then it's not going to work. So that's kind of how and I admit when I'm wrong. Yeah. Because I think the team needs to hear when the leader's wrong, and they need to hear when the leader take accountability when things don't go right.
We recently created these communications principles, and one of them includes the accepting the idea that I might be wrong. And, and we have to have a lot of conversations. We're communications companies. That's right. Communication and conflict have to occur. And I know you understand this. And so if you're not willing to maybe hear somebody else's opinion about what's going on, you're not going to have a healthy organization.
That's right.
And you're sounds like you espouse the same thing. I have this, you have to give people the responsibility and the authority to make decisions when you're not around. Yes. Because it will wear you out. We've got enough decisions to make already. I hired you for a good reason. That's right. Make a decision. And if you fail, then, hey, we call that tuition. That's right. At our office. That's right. You got to learn.
And it makes you better. Yeah. And we do a lot of postmortems. There are sometimes you're in the marketing world, you'll pitch an account and you don't land it. What could we have done better? Right. Why didn't we? I always ask that question. Or why did we take this on? Or why did we take this on? Should we have taken this on? Yeah. Do we want to continue to target this type of, potential client in the future? All of those things, and giving people the ability to speak freely. Mm-hmm. I always try to speak last. in the group whenever we meet. Sometimes that's difficult for me, but I make a concerted effort to do that. We had an RFP response yesterday, and I scheduled a postmortem afterwards. And I said, okay, how'd it go? How do you guys think it went? And I was the one that talked last.
Yeah.
And I do believe that our team feels like they can speak freely, and they feel like they can disagree with me. And I'm glad.
Here's another one.
And it's kind of it's a family legacy that we tell our kids, and have been told to me. We're all very unemployable people. So my great-grandfather came over from Italy on a boat, started a grocery store in Memphis, Signiago Fancy Meats and Groceries. And then my grandfather was a son of immigrants, went to Notre Dame, played football, World War II, tremendous man, owned his own beer business. So he had the rights to Miller and I think maybe Coors and Schlitz in Memphis. So he was an entrepreneur. And my mother, out of necessity, I was raised by a single mother. She started her own business in 1980 doing branding and promotional items. So like little coasters like this with your brand.
Right.
I'd do a plug for her if she was still working. She's retired now. And that small business put food on the table for us. And I saw her run her own business and the frustrations of what that entails, but also the benefits, the freedom and flexibility and autonomy of it. And so 2008, it was my turn. And I didn't know I was going to be in this niche. The saying is, necessity is the ultimate motivator. So we had my son and my wife was pregnant with our daughter. And I knew I wanted to start my own firm. Although I did explore joining a firm in Middle Tennessee. I talked to a recruiting agency. And back to the theme of my life, right? Better than expected. Based on my skill set, which I thought was pretty expansive. Like how many lawyers have gone toe to toe with Amway and had this experience with, several $1 million litigation in this niche practice area. And this recruiter told me, yeah, you're worth about $60,000. Man, that was a punch in my stomach. I invested in my career and I had a suspicion that what I knew was valuable, more valuable than that. And so I'm like, all right, I can't do that. I'm not going to go work for somebody else. I have a theory and I have to see it through. And so I started my own shop late 2008, early 2009 with some Google ads, just seeing what was out there. I put bait on the hook and I threw it in the water and I prayed for a bite. And I got one client and it was a $5,000 matter. Technically 10, but he paid me 5. I got screwed. And I just invested it all in the business. And I made sure to keep the cost down bare bones. So we were in an apartment, 2-bedroom apartment in Franklin, minimal cost, 1 car. I didn't know what to expect. And then one client turned a 2 to 4 to 8 to a pretty good career.
What was the biggest decision you've had to make in business since you founded the firm?
So we start the firm in 2012, in April of 2012. And at the time, it was pretty simple. 2 people, and Walt had his expertise and his clients. And he was cocky enough to think that he could keep most of his business from his other firm. And even to this day, we recruit lawyers that are really well-seasoned, well-respected, and a lot of lawyers overestimate their ability to keep business when they leave. To his credit, he kept a lot of it. So that pot was separate from an income standpoint. That's his income, and I had my business going, and we shared the cost. When it came time to grow, we knew we wanted to do more than the 2 of us. When it came time to build a model, we really had to think through what works at 3, what could work at 50. We wanted to have a model that wasn't subjective, where we determine what somebody gets paid. So we have an objective compensation model for partners. That was a really big decision. And to this day, our model still mimics that early start.
So how did you navigate that decision to how to scale a firm? Did you go follow other people that were doing it? Did you ask around? Like, what did that look like?
You know, we've never had mentors. So in our business, which is different from any other sector, we're not a technology company. We're not a traditional consulting company. Law firms, typically the ones in town and really all over the country, they were established in a different era, pre-internet era, where it was really hard for people to leave, the captive audience. And in that kind of model, the partners can really do whatever they wanted to do. And you have committees and you have compensation committees and, you know, leadership positions where people might not deserve to have authority. And it's a complicated soup. So we were competing against that. And we knew we didn't want to do that. We wanted to build the kind of place that we would be willing to work at ourselves. And just kind of go back, me being at the first firm, which was a good firm, very traditional firm. But even at a young age, I was developing business and my income wasn't going up. I had a problem with that. I left. It's that way at a lot of places. And so we wanted to incentivize producers. And so I can't say that we really ran it by anybody. We just had a suspicion. And as long as his business was good and my business was good, we could afford to make mistakes. That's the key. Cash flow is king. And if the revenue is good, you can plow through problems. Luckily, we didn't make any big mistakes early. A big mistake would have been, and this is actually still a habit we have to this day, we scale at a comfortable pace. So what we typically do is we'll invest in space, but not too much. And then we fill it up. And then we accumulate more space. And then we fill it up. And then the staff is overrun. And then we shore up the staff. We've always scaled at what I feel is a very intelligent and comfortable pace where if a big chunk of people leave, it won't blow us out. Early, if we scaled too fast, it would have blown us out. And so we've been very careful with our growth.
Now, this one kind of like tugged on my heartstrings.
During that, we were all facing huge obstacles. So we went from having a monthly forum to a weekly forum. And we did Zoom calls every Friday. And going back, I mean, it was everything from PPP and what we were doing there to really what I leaned into was, you know, how do I help my advertisers, which are local businesses? Because if I can help them survive, then selfishly, I can also survive. So it was actually by helping my advertisers that would help us. And so that was a lovely thing, is that I just got to pour myself into them and help. You know, Jay was helping doing videos on, this is how you fill out a PPP form. And, you know, we just were fully leaning in there. I guess for that 2 weeks before we thought PPP was coming, it was, I'm being advised to basically fire half my staff. And they were like, you might have to, you have to be prepared. So it was that the hard thing to admit, you know, because I didn't want to fire them, because then we didn't know that they were going to get, you know, unemployment like at the state that, you know, the government put out for them. And I'm just a bleeding heart. And I was like, I can't let them go. But if I don't, maybe my business goes under and then I don't have anyone to support. You know, it was those kind of more ethical questions that I was going to forum with.
Mm.
Yeah.
What would you, if you could do COVID over again, how would you navigate that?
Wow.
You know, I don't know that there's anything I would change. And what I mean by that is, I think a lot of people were like, oh, it's so great. And I got all this extra time. And we didn't have any extra time. I woke up every day not knowing if my business was going to be around that afternoon. Not knowing, you know, we did not know. But in retrospect, there was no way to know. So we just worked really hard and loved on our kids really hard. And I think I would do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And this was just pure good time.
There was, so Brian Ansley's also in the mix. I remember him saying, why should I, because I took over for his doctor, and he said, why should I, like, you're just another doctor in the line. Why should I stay with you? And I thought, well, I am a machine. You're not going to know what this is about. So the entrepreneur, so the reason, well, I don't think I'm having trouble answering that, because there was like the puff of smoke. There was nothing that ever in my life made me want to do business. In fact, any talk of money and money exchange is still really hard for me, because this is something I should be doing for mangoes, except my mortgage and my daughter's college tuition can be paid in mango, right? So
if you have mangoes, there's another form of payment. I like this. Did
I answer your question?
No, I know, but I know that feeling. Like when you like what you do, but you feel like, well, I also have to survive.
Yes.
I also have a life. I also want to retire. I want to do other things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a conflict.
It is. And I have to have staff, and I have to meet overhead. So that's been really difficult. So, but EO has been amazing about helping me put those dashboards together and helping me figure out what I need, what I might have too much of, helping me figure out my finances, organizing that. So it's been amazing. And I look forward to my sweet forum mates. They've seen a lot more tears and a lot more than I want to admit.
What would you tell a new prospect to EO, and they were to spend lunch with you, and what advice would you give them about how to have the best EO experience?
I've heard it. I heard Samira say it a lot, and it's true. Lean in. So she says it all the time. You're only going to get out of it what you put into it. If you don't participate in forum, and if you don't go to the talks, then you're not going to learn what you came to learn. You've got to be thirsty and drink from it before you'll get any benefit. It won't just happen. But this is the place. If you feel like there's something you want to build, these are the guys that are going to teach you to build it.
Yeah, it's important to show up. Like we were talking about EMP earlier, and I went there just because Arnie told me it's the best thing EO does. You should go. And so I did. But the thing that I walked away with was far more impactful than what I had expected. And it really wasn't as much to do with business as it was to the conversation I had with my friend Stu about health and exercise. And so, and that has made me better in every aspect of being an entrepreneur. So there, you go to these EO events, and you think you're going to walk away with X, but you walk away with Y, and it makes a much different and bigger impact than you could have ever imagined. And I when people push back on, I don't have time for all these events, just pick a few and, don't have huge expectations. You may not learn anything, but the next time it may be something that takes you on a different trajectory and changes your life entirely.
It's easy. You could be famous. Like, you could be an absolute hero. I could imagine you getting a text message from a friend who watches this episode of you, this future video that you're going to do with Eric and I at some point. They're going to thank you. They're going to be, you know what? After watching that, I knew what I needed to do.
Or maybe you can even send this to your mom, and your mom will think you're a really big deal. We all want to be a big deal in our mom and dad's eyes, right? Here's your chance.
So when we reach out, freaking say yes. Don't be a wuss, and just come in here and have a good time. I promise you, you will get more out of recounting an experience from your past, just reliving it. You'll learn something you didn't even know was there, just to bring it out of the basement of your brain and put it in a format that can stand the test of time.
We've only had one serious accident here. I mean, it was no big deal. The ambulance came. Everybody was fine. So there's no danger. We're going to be nice.
Sometimes. Anyway, we're done now.
We're out.
Thanks for listening to the Decision Podcast by Nashville EO. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.